Welcome, Garnet, to the Black Excellence Club podcast. I appreciate you donating some of your time to us today. And we're just going to start
Definitely.
off by you introducing yourself.
All right, guys. So my name is Garnet Jr. Right, Coach Garnet Jr. I'm a cryptocurrency and business coach. Right, I basically help aspiring entrepreneurs understand and invest in the cryptocurrency market in the most simplistic way possible and safely. Right. My background is Jamaican. Right. However, I've lived in more than one countries. Right. So that's my unique selling proposition as a cryptocurrency coach because I've lived in multiple countries, right? There's a different sauce, right? There's a different strategy for each country, right? There's different tax principles, right? So I give you that information so you can level up.
Okay, good, good. So, you were born and raised in Jamaica?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Jamaica. Yes, then left Jamaica, went over to the United States, spent there for a little while. Then, I left there and, I'm here living in Canada.
Okay, nice. So, what was that process like? When did you leave Jamaica? Like when you was young or as an adult?
All right, to be honest, is quite recently, right? It was around 2017, right? I started from the bottom in Jamaica, went through the entrepreneurial roller coaster. From there, went to the not the top, but I would say I was doing fairly good for myself then. But I got it tired of it, and I said, you know what? Let me try America. Let me try Canada. I know you hear about Uncle Sam, you hear about the different life
Right.
styles that you can live, right? So you basically, transition towards that, right? You want to leave, a third world country, right? Jamaica is beautiful, right? The food is good, everything is there, but there's not monetary opportunities. There's not a whole lot of monetary opportunities. So that's why, as an immigrant, right, we leave our countries and go to America for that money.
Right. Okay. So when did entrepreneurship begin for you?
To be honest, entrepreneurship began for me from around age 10 years old, right? I have a book called Small Boy Big Profits, right? And I documented the journey of when I really started my entrepreneurial journey, right? And how it all started is me basically getting a Game Boy Advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
A Game Boy Advance from, some personals, family relatives who gave me this game, right? And then I used to bring it to school and I used to play it a lot, but people used to bother me for, playing also, and I was enjoying myself. So I'm saying, you know what? If you pay me this, right, I'll give you the game, right? And from I figure that out, I'm like, ooh, all right. Everyone was like playing the games, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
was making the money so I could buy extra lunch. As at that time, I like to eat. So I'm like, okay, all right, you guys are playing, I'm eating, enjoying myself. So that triggered the entrepreneurial flair in me where I'm like, oh, this that I have, people want to use it. I can actually, charge. So they're enjoying themselves. And then for me, I can get some monetary gain from it. So I can later on enjoy myself by, buying lunch and, the
Right.
extra, extra food then. So that's how my entrepreneurial journey really, really started at age 10 years old.
Okay. So you spoke about a book. When did you write the book?
It was last year, June, right? I wrote a book, called Small Boy Big Profits. I documented my journey from where I started to where I'm at that current point to where I'm at right now, right? And during the process, right, I realized that hey, I used to make a lot of money, but I used to lose it, right? I
Mm-hmm.
make it, lose it, make it, lose it. So I'm like, what's going on wrong, right? So I got deeper and I started to do, reading, started to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Magic of Thinking Big, and I realized that my mindset was off, right? And from I started to do personal development and invest myself by, reading more books, getting into the motivational audio, then my mindset changed and then I started to keep my money and I realized that was the issue, right? Because back home, no one really, I didn't have rich parents, right, to teach me
Right.
financial literacy, right? So from there, right? There wasn't any really guidance. I was making a whole lot, right? Making tons more than my parents. I didn't even tell them at the time how much I was working. It's in the book. I revealed and told them how much I was working, and even when my mom read it, my mom like reached out to me and said, "So this was the amount of money you were making? So how did I not see this? Like, where's
Right.
my share?" Yeah, she got mad upset. Like she got upset about it. So I'm like, no, mom, But I apologize in the book also. So that's how everything went down.
Okay. So is this a physical book or is it an ebook?
All right, so I have three versions, right? So you can get it on Amazon, right? The physical copy on Amazon, right? And the
Okay.
virtual copy, it's also available on Amazon or smallboybigprofits.com. You can get the virtual copy ebook, and on Amazon, which is Amazon Audible, the audiobook is also available, and it's also available on smallboybigprofits.com. Because I
Okay.
know a lot of persons have different styles of learning, right? Some likes to have the physical book, some likes to have the virtual, and some likes to listen. So I made sure that I facilitate that. And in the book, right, I spoke about mindset. I spoke about budgeting, right, and different ways how to make money, right. So there's three different sections, right, and I correlated to my life journey, right. So it's a biographical entrepreneurship make money book, right, all in one, right. And I'm high level with certain mindset principles, the different paradigms. So I basically break down the information in a more simplistic way so the masses can understand.
Okay. So what was the process of writing the book? Like, how did
Well,
you go about it?
so the process of writing the book, and as a business coach, apart from crypto, the business side, right, you just have to dump everything, right, just dump everything that that you think persons can benefit from, right. So you're going to do a brain dump, and then after you do that brain dump, you're going to correlate that with a situation or a story that someone can relate to, right, and then you combine both of them, and then that's how you start your book process, right. Then you name the chapter, then you basically sectionize each, and then you go through the editing process, and then you get external persons to vet the information, and you get an audiobook. So it's a process. I'm a self-publisher, right, so that's a
Okay.
good journey. So not only did I create that product, right, I was able to do the whole works of writing it, doing the publishing, doing the whole works, creating the book itself. And that's a good process. Now I would tell anyone this, like, hey, at the end of the day, you don't have to be a millionaire, right, you don't have to be super successful in the monetary space, because people correlate success with just the monetary part of it. But you have so many different aspects in life that you can be successful, whether through family, whether through friendships, whether through connections, right? It's just that if this journey that you went through in life can benefit someone, you can tell the story and share that story with someone, and then you can just write a book about it, right? So
Right.
we don't have to focus on only money. Like, real success is only money, right? Real success is basically you having the ability to help others out there, right? And mutually helping yourself too, right?
Hmm. So you said you self-published. What was that journey like? I'm asking because I actually interviewed someone. Like, I think one of my first interviews, he had written a book, and he self-published, he self-edited, and then he also hired an editor, but then everything didn't work out the way he wanted it. So now he it's like he's in the process of redoing everything. So that's why I'm just asking what that process was like, because then I could definitely send him this link so he can just hear what you went through as a self-publisher and then how you edit it and all of that.
Okay, so they always have this thing. Let me start off with this. They always have this concept where they call it the writer's block, right? And it's just motivation, right? At the end of the day, when you're writing a book, you have to make sure that hey, your mind space is right. You're in the correct environment, because you will get discouraged, right? And at the end of the day, if you know that hey, this information is gonna be beneficial to someone, all you need is that momentum. So mindset is a very, very integral part, right? And that's what's gonna help a lot of persons to elevate themselves. So you have to get your mind right first. So that's the first thing before you even start thinking about writing a book, right? After you get your mindset right, and you know that hey, at the end of the day, this is gonna benefit somebody, right? Plus, at least you can leave a legacy. You can talk about your life, right? It will continue for traditions, right? You can think about this aspect where you can leave it for your kids, right? And they can say, oh, granddaddy or grandpa, your generation, right? So you have to know the reason why, right? the reason why you're writing this book. And once you have a strong reason, right, then you'll go through the process, right? Well, just going through the process, right, all you have to do is dump the information, right? And as a publisher, there's some key factors that you need to know, right? You need to get the ISBN number, right? You have to know which site to go get it from, right? I can't pronounce
So
the site, but it
what
starts
what
with a
is what
B.
is the ISBN number?
International Standard Book Number, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you a little sauce with book writing also, cause for my coaching program, the business coaching. If someone wants to write a book, I also teach them about that. So I have crypto books also. So at the end of the day, as a crypto and business coach, I have to show persons where they can create digital products like books, right? But let me get straight to the sauce, right? So there's some stuff that ISBN, you have to try to get your own ISBN numbers. A lot of persons go on Amazon and hand over their rights to Amazon by getting Amazon's ISBN number. Right, so that's another thing a lot of persons are not really focusing on, because ownership is the real deal, right? So you have to get an ISBN number, right? The book editing part of it, right? Once you get the information out of your head, you have to just basically try to organize it, right? Organize it and see if it makes sense to you. And also, if you have peers around you, you can, refer to them. But I always say this: don't refer to somebody who is not having the information you need and was in the position you are, because they would basically discourage you, right? Because they were not in that position, right? And you never know
Right.
what person's intentions are, right? So another thing is to get like a coach or a mentor to help him, right? So if he's going through the process, he can get a guide. Right, but I know a lot of persons don't want to start off that, they want to try it for themselves. But this give you the step process. So you get the ISBN number, right? You have to know which platform you're gonna be distributing your book on, like Amazon. You have Barnes and Noble, right? So that's another thing. So that's how you're gonna distribute. You have to know the different forms that you wanna create your book in, right? You wanna have the physical copy, you wanna have the virtual copy, you wanna have the audiobook, because people learn in different aspects, right? Then the book design, right? You can go on Fiverr and get somebody to design a book design for you, right? And there's particular dimensions that you need to know, right? So those book design persons, they already know that. So once you tell them like, hey, I want my book, I want it around this size, right? They can give you the dimensions, right? Once you get in a professional person on Fiverr. But most persons on Fiverr, they know how to do this, right? So that's another step again. And apart from those parts, all you need to do basically is just go write in the book, right? And then after you write it, you go on Grammarly. If you wanna go through some editing process, you edit it through Grammarly, right? Because it helps you, right? But sometimes Grammarly takes away your chain of thought, right? Or how do you want to communicate? So you have to go through and fight with it a little bit. Then you get an editor if you don't want to get it higher leveled or appealing to the masses, and then you can get a voiceover for the audiobook section. Combine all of them and then launch your product.
Okay. So for your audiobook, did you do it yourself or did you hire someone to do it?
Oh, with the voice, no, I hired someone for the audiobook because
Okay.
I wanted that mellow voice, and then the audiobook process, right? You remember you have to record it, right? And then there's a speed at which you read, and then after you have to mix it and make sure, hey, the background is good, and then the interference based on whatever microphone, you have to make sure that part is sorted out. But on Fiverr again, you can go ahead and get those resources. So the main part is just to basically write the book first, get it edited, then you can go on Fiverr and get an audio book, audio voiceover. They're gonna basically read your book, right? And then they edit it and send it over to you, and that's how you create your audiobook.
Okay. That's dope. Because I know some writers do it themselves and some don't. So that's why I asked if you did it yourself.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's a nice process, right? The It's gonna cost a little bit. It's not that cheap, but I had a budget, say around 6 grand. It cost me around 6,000 to self-publish my own book, right? Because I
Okay.
wanted to make sure that everything was there, and it's three different versions, right? I had the virtual and I had the audiobook, and audio voiceovers, they ain't that cheap. An editor, they ain't that cheap either. But here's a hack, guys, right? For an editor, instead of using an editor who's in the United States or Canada that's going to charge you a whole lot of money, you can contact, say, a college professor in a third world island, right? So that's what I did. That's the strategy that I did. Instead of hiring an editor here who's going to charge me, say, 5,000, I reached out to a college professor and told her that, hey, I need it. She charged me around 100,000 in that currency, which was equivalent to 1,000. So currency exchange. So that's another strategy again. And I thought I give you a little snippet of it in the Small Boy Big Profits of how you can leverage currency, right? So we remember $1 here in the United States or say Canada is 100 back in another third country. So you can utilize those resources, especially where editing is concerned. So that's a hack that I found out and I utilized it, got my stuff edited, and yeah, launch it off.
That makes so much sense. Cause like, I can agree with that because right now I'm in the process of looking for an editor for my YouTube as well as for the podcast. So right now, like I was using Fiverr. Honestly, Fiverr's too expensive at this point. Like it's fairly expensive at this rate. So I'm trying out Upwork. I'm gonna try someone. I told them my price. They, you know how they are. They try to negotiate, even though they're in
Definitely,
a
it's
country
a business.
with a different currency. So it's like, look, this is my max. You either gonna take it or you gonna leave it. So they're gonna take it. So let's see how the first month goes. And I just like my only thing with hiring an editor is one, they don't always show you all of their work. So they only show you what they want you to see. And that gives you a small snippet of what they really can do. And it doesn't allow you to be like, okay, I like what you've been doing. I think you can help me versus, nah, this isn't going to work. That's just something that I've learned from, especially hiring on Fiverr.
So what I would say to you, Grammarly, just pay for the Grammarly service, and Grammarly would definitely help you. That's a software that really helped me a lot, right? Especially if you're a person who has a language barrier or you have a particular dialect, so you know certain words won't go together. Grammarly can definitely help you out. It's a really, really good software to utilize, and then after you can go to the editor, and it makes it easier for them because they will assess the work and they go by the amount of words again. So at the end of the day, you have to think about all of that too.
Oh, I was talking about for video editing.
Oh, for video. Oh, my
Yeah,
apologies.
yeah, yeah, for video. Yeah, that's what I mean. Video editing. That's a little
Okay.
hard to source.
Yeah,
I'm
video.
not writing a book yet. I'm getting to one day, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay, okay. So my apologies about that. So video editing, I stay away from it, honestly. I just outsource it, but you have softwares like Filmora that can help you out. You have iMovie. So you can basically go through a trial and error process, or you can just hire a professional. I basically just hire a professional because my mental real estate is really important. So I don't want to go through the frustration, and I don't want to focus on what I'm not good at. I'm focusing on what I'm good at, and I capitalize
Exactly.
on that, and I outsource. So you have to go through you have to go through until you
Exactly.
find your person.
And that's exactly what I'm doing right now because like I know how to edit. It just takes up too much of my time and I'm trying to leverage my time versus, I don't
Yes.
want to take up all my time trying to sit there and edit and then I'm working a full-time job and I'm trying to record episodes and I'm trying to it's too much. So that's why I'm in the aspect of outsourcing the editing and I know it's gonna take time to find that right person, that's gonna grow with me, and
It's
I'm looking
entrepreneurship.
forward for that process. Exactly,
Entrepreneurship
most
is
definitely.
trial and error, and you can probably try out this book. It's called the 4 Hour Work Week. He gives you resources in that book.
I
So that
love
book,
that book.
there we go. You see,
I read it.
who not
I
have?
read it in 2020. I read it in 2020. I
Yeah.
just wish that I had a job that I can apply it to because, man, if I had like a office 9 to 5, I would be working 4 hours a week by now. I would have implemented that entire strategy, but unfortunately, I work a manual labor job, so I can't do that.
So here's what I would say to you, right? Because I started off with a manual labor job, but at the end of the day, I always say that's why you have to master with persons, right? If you can find another job that basically, and I wouldn't say job, because I rather go to the entrepreneur space where you can be a contractor, right? So you're working with instead of for, so you have more, time on your hands. But at the end of the day, it's just to pivot. Sometimes you have to focus on what you're doing to the side, right? Never leave your job until you can basically facilitate yourself. So use the job
Exactly.
and use the fuel or the seed money from the job to fuel the business, right? And just think about this, right? Hey, I'm gonna be free from this job. I'm just using you guys, right? That's how you need to. So you would be happy with the 9 to 5, like that partner, right? So you have to utilize the job as a partner. Say, hey, I'm just using you for right now. This is where I'm going, right? So I'm not gonna be here for. And once you focus on what you're doing over here, then you won't feel that guilt, you won't feel that frustration. And sometimes we have to just pivot, right? If you know that something, so another success principle, apart from who you listen to, right, is the teachability index, right? They always say, being able to accept change and execute with it, right? So sometimes we have to just be teachable where if something is not really working for us, if we can get information on something that's working, we can, change, right? Pivot. And that's something that I had to do, right? I left from manual labor, 'cause I used to do manual labor, right, in the warehouse. Then one of my primary stuff is taking care of mentally challenged personnel, right, or persons with disabilities. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
very lucrative industry. However, I still have to be there and I still have to be in person physically. So now I've moved over to crypto, right? And then with crypto, it allowed me to do online investments. And from the knowledge that I've got from it, I'm now able to do stock trading, options trading. I'm now able to diversify and create digital products where now at the end of the day, I just need an internet access and a device, and then I can go ahead. So it takes time and it's through a step by step process. But once you have a vision and once your why is strong, you will definitely go through.
Yeah. Like I said, that's exactly what I'm working on
There
because
you
I'm
go.
ready
It's
for that
time.
freedom. I am ready for the freedom. Um, so what's the name of your business or businesses?
So for me, the big goal is to have one corporation which is called Small Boy Enterprise. But we facilitate multiple streams of income. So just answer your question. Small Boy Enterprise is the name of the company, but there's different sections to it, and that's another strategy again because we want to keep money. We don't want to funnel all our money through one enterprise. You have to split it
Exactly.
up so you can take advantage of tax strategies.
Okay. So did you have to pay taxes like that when you was in Jamaica, or is it new to you now that you moved to the U.S. and then Canada?
So when I was living in Jamaica, normally when you have a paycheck, they take taxes out of it. We don't know what really happens with it, so we don't really focus on it, right? We don't really focus on it because we never really got tax returns or anything like that because we didn't have the
Right.
knowledge. I knew now that hey, I can file for my tax returns then, but our community wasn't focused on it. They weren't telling us about this that hey, you could file a tax return back home, right? So back then, I didn't really focus on taxes or anything like that. But over here now, where you see like, hey, a whole chunk of your money is going away, then you have to focus on taxes, right? So that's the good
Right.
thing about third world countries, right? That there's different aspects that you can leverage where they don't have to penalize you on tax codes. There's different ways how you don't have to. The system isn't that organized in that manner, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
can live a more tax free life in third world countries compared to the United States or Canada are more, first world countries that are more organized in that fashion.
Right. So are your businesses registered in Jamaica, or are they registered in the U.S. and Canada?
Well, so one strategy I use, I'm living in Canada, right? So this is prime residence, and there's a thing called double taxation. So you have to think about that again. Where if you live in more than one country, you're gonna be taxed, more than one. So one strategy I do, I have businesses in more than one countries because at the end of the day, I'm duplicating myself. So this is a major hack, right? Have more than one businesses in different countries, so you're basically duplicating yourself. So I have a business in Jamaica, I have one in the United States, and I have one in Canada.
Okay. So of those three businesses that you have registered in each place, do you only pay taxes for the one in the U.S. and Canada?
So yeah, so for the one in Jamaica, right? No, I don't really do the Jamaican one because I'm not there right now, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
business is there, so I don't really do services there. Right? So
Okay.
what I do, I have it there so I can utilize the business to basically buy assets, right? Because that's what I do with the businesses. So I have myself there. but I mainly focus on the United States and Canada, right? With regards to taxes, right?
Okay, so I have a question because in Bermuda we don't like we pay taxes, but we don't do it like the U.S. and kind like you don't file them and stuff like that. Our So when it comes to our tax system, from my understanding, is we have the payroll tax that comes out of your paycheck before you even get it. And then like if you have a house, you have land tax. And then I think that's pretty much it. Like there's different taxes, but it's only dependent on what exactly you're doing. So as a business owner, I do not have to pay taxes in the aspect of how much I profit and or anything like that. It all goes based off of payroll. So it all goes based off of how much I pay myself. If that
Hmm.
makes sense.
I think I
So
should move
like
over to Bermuda then.
So like for me right now, as my I have two registered businesses. One is under my name, which will eventually be my holding company or my what's the word?
Parent
Like
company.
an enterprise, like you said. So
Yeah.
that will own everything. So I have that, and then I have the 441 brand registered, which is my clothing brand that I have. And of those, I file we do them every quarter, and I file $0 tax returns because I'm not paying myself anything, and I'm not making money either. So like I'm not got nothing to give to you anyway. But even if I was making money, I don't have to file the return until I am paying myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. So Bermuda allows you to do that. Well, that's good. So you don't have to file
Yeah.
corporate taxes though, because I know once it's a corporation, the corporation is an entity by itself. So you have the corporation and you have as a person. So yes, you don't have to do a payroll, but as an entity, right? Don't you have to file taxes? Because here's the thing, right? And this is something I see a whole lot of entrepreneurs do, right? You might have a company, right? And you don't file taxes to alleviate that part, but you're not building a relationship with the banks and the government. So when your
Right.
business needs funding, if you don't file taxes to show their, if there's a P&L or there's a cash flow, you won't get funding. So what I would say to you, right? I would say to you to file taxes for your company, but if you can file a net file, meaning that, hey, you're showing a low income, right? So instead of you issuing out money, right? You can either break even or they give you a return back, right? So you can build that relationship because the banks want you to do that. So just thinking long term, right? If you do that, then you can, set yourself up for funding because as a business owner, OPM is what we utilize, right? Others people's money.
Most
So,
definitely.
if you're not filing taxes, you're not building a relationship. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you're doing. Especially
Right.
if you have a business for how many years and you're not filing taxes. And that's one of the major hacks I've seen. I've studied a couple countries, like for example the Russians, right? A lot of persons have their different feelings with regards to them, right? But they're in all countries. But what I realize what they do, they set up corporations, right? And that's how they're able to move in different countries. Once they have a company over there, they assign whether, CEOs or different positions that they alone can do, right? And that's how they're able to move to other countries. And I've studied it and I'm like, whoa, this is a principle, and from I've studied it, that's what I do. So even for me, I'm a Canadian resident, but I'm not a citizen in the United States. However, I have a corporation over there that can enable me to own property, buy cars, do anything because it's an entity.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Right now I'm not registered as a corporation or anything. It's just as a sole proprietor. Just for the time being, because really I'm not doing anything. The main reason I registered the first company is I was working for this company and they didn't hire full-time staff. They hired like contractors. So therefore you had to go and register a business. So for when you get paid and when you use the money that they pay you, you have to pay your own payroll tax. That's the only reason that business was technically registered, because I was doing that job. And I honestly didn't use that money till like this year, and I was doing that job last year. So I finally, like, once I started using the money, that's when I started, like, I paid them the taxes, like, you know what I mean? So it's not that I'm not paying taxes at all, it's that I don't have to pay taxes until I spend the money. So if they do an audit and they see that, oh, you got paid this, you got paid this, you got paid this, and it's still sitting there, they can't be like, oh, well, you didn't pay your taxes. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, and it's based on
Yeah.
each country's laws. Because if that's happening in the United States, the IRS will take half of your money, especially if it's over a particular amount. So in the US, when you have your money sitting in the bank, it actually is a disservice to yourself, right? You have to go spend it. That's why you see people who are making a lot of money. Once you're over, say, in over 500K, right? You're
Hmm.
making over that amount, right? You have to utilize the money. If the money is sitting there, IRS is gonna come for it. That's why you see a lot of persons buy luxury items, but they don't really tell you that, hey, it's a tax break that they're looking for. That's why they're buying all these luxury items. Some persons don't even want to
Right.
do it. That's why you see some people buy how many $1 million homes, because if they have a whole lot of money and they don't utilize it, it's gonna go to the government either way. So that's another thing again. Tax strategists.
And I am definitely feeling the US taxes when it comes to my brokerage account because I do have one that's in the US. And as someone that is not American, they take 30%. Like, yo, 30% is a lot for someone that don't live in your country. Like, are you stupid? Like, it really makes me question, is it worth investing in the United States of America? Because if you're going to take 30% of my profits, like, I am not from your country. I
So
don't
let
even
me
have a
ask you a
bank account.
question. When you basically pay the taxes is when you sell your assets, right?
So I don't. So the way mine is set up, where it's done automatically. I don't know. And it's based off of my dividends because I haven't sold anything. Since
Oh,
I
you're
haven't
getting
sold
dividends.
anything,
Yes,
it's from getting my dividends. They're taking 30%. I'm just like,
yes.
yo, I'm only getting $5. Like, why you, why you taking two of my $5? Like, that's not cool.
Well,
But
what I would say to you, follow the rich principle. What they do, what the rich does, sometimes you want to pay yourself a dividend, but once you pay yourself a dividend, that's considered income, so you have to pay taxes on dividend. But if you can
exactly.
start to your broker and you can reinvest the money, right? And then you borrow against your money, right? That's tax deferred. You get what I'm saying? And you still have your
Hmm.
assets. So that's what the rich does. They borrow against their money because loans are tax deferred, right? You can't
Right.
tax loans. So that's a strategy I would say to you. Like, instead of you taking your dividends and paying all that money, right? You can reinvest it into the portfolio. So I don't know who your brokerage is, but you can speak to them. So instead of you taking it, you're reinvesting it. So you're not triggering a tax event, right? And then you borrow against your portfolio, whatever percentage they want to give to you, and then you utilize that money tax deferred.
I must look into that. Cause I don't know about paying 30% to the U.S. government. That's stupid.
But
But
we gotta
anyway,
pay taxes.
well, I don't have to pay taxes, but you do. At least I don't yet. Let's put it that way. Cause yeah, that's that's also something that's just like, is it worth living in the United States of America? Like, or you have to select your state based on their taxes,
There
because
you
I know each
go.
state is different. So it's just like, well, it makes me think, well, what state are they doing this in that I have to pay 30% on my income, on my gains, so to say. So where is a state that has zero in what they call it, capital gains or something like that? Because I know
Well,
some of them do. I
well,
think
what I would say
so.
to you, right? You have to so as a business coach also, right? I also do tax strategy. So you have to see what the rich does, study and follow what they do. You realize the rich always have real estate, right? So when they make money, right, they funnel the money into real estate, right? And if you know about depreciation, based on the value of the property, you get a particular amount which is called depreciation that you can write off as a tax break, right? And if your
Right.
depreciation amount is greater than your tax lien, right? That basically allows you not to pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you have to know what you're doing and what's the plan. And that's why one of the first strategies is to borrow against whatever asset you have, or you can basically funnel it through a life insurance policy. That's another play again. Or you can utilize real estate and depreciation. So it's not about like paying taxes, it's about the strategy. Because that's why you see even the president or certain rich high profile persons, they don't pay taxes. Reason being is because they have real estate and they utilize depreciation.
Yep.
So at the end
They
of the day,
just
there's
do it
ways that
in a
you can
cycle.
you can avoid taxes, right? It's just that you have to know the strategy. So the law is there. It's just that you have to utilize it, right? That's it. So, I've done my research and I say, okay, cool. These are the reasons why I do crypto, right? And this is the reason why I do life insurance, and this is the reason why I'm even getting into the real estate market right now. But now is not a good time for me. But I utilize loans and I utilize these tax strategies, whether life insurance or cryptocurrency loans, right, in the market that I'm in, right? So those give you tax breaks. And then remember, once you have a business again, a business allows you to write off so much stuff compared to if you're like a sole proprietor, right? If
Right.
you have a corporation, you get more leverage, right? You can leverage
Hmm.
write-offs compared to you being a sole proprietor. 'Cause it's like you're a person, but you're just operating as a business, but they're gonna treat you as a person, right? So you have to know the differences. So it's all about the strategy, right? And that's why, as a person who coach, you have to have a coach that has tax strategies. It's not about just telling you how to set up a business, telling you how to do this, right? But what are the strategies? Because it's not about just making, it's about keeping it.
Most definitely, definitely have to keep your money for sure.
Definitely.
Most definitely. But I feel like for right now, it's not gonna affect me until I move out of Bermuda, if that makes sense.
Well,
Um,
that's the perks, right? Utilize it. And here's another thing where I see a lot of persons who are over a particular net worth who are in the stock market because you say you have a brokerage account. They basically have residence in Puerto Rico because Puerto Rico give you a major tax break, right? So and remember, United States basically owns Puerto Rico, so you can still be a
right.
United States citizen, or you live in Puerto Rico, so you funnel all your money through Puerto Rico, and at the end of the day, you don't have to pay those taxes. So there you go. So there's different ways. You have to find out how to do it, and you have to find who has the information to show you how to do it.
Most definitely. So how long have you had your business?
It all depends on which business, because I have more than one, right?
Okay,
So
so let's go with the business coaching.
the business coaching, right? I really kicked that one off last year, right? I started to do business coaching from last year, right? So that one is fairly new, right? And the one prior to that, I started off that in 2020. That's the major corporation, right? That holds everything, right?
Okay.
Also, for the one that's in the US, I had two businesses, right? I had one prior to in the US from 2016, right? So I leveraged that one, and then I recently opened another one this year, which is Small Boy Enterprise, right? So I'm doing a continuance from the previous one from 2017 to this no new business, right? So it's multiple businesses you have to have, and remember, at the end of the day, you have to utilize tax strategies, right? Because if you have one business that has all this money, the tax lien is gonna be great. The tax is gonna be greater based on the volume. However, if you have separate entities, right, you can leverage write offs in separate entities. So you have to know how you go about maneuvering. But if you're talking about cryptocurrency, right, I've been in the space 2 years, right, but the business is 1 year strong going, right, and yeah.
Okay. So how do you compete with all the people who are selling the same or similar services when it comes to your crypto business?
So here's the thing. Based on my market, and I've analyzed the market, no one is doing what I'm doing, right? Because here's the thing. My unique selling proposition is basically being an international cryptocurrency coach, right? What does that mean? I've lived in all these three countries, right? So there's different principles that applies to each, right? I don't see no internet marketer talking about these principles, right? Because they're just giving you the game for the US. But what happens or applies to the US doesn't apply in Canada or outside of North America, right? For example, Binance right now, a cryptocurrency platform, you can't utilize it efficiently in the United States. In Canada, it's not allowed, but outside of Canada and the Caribbean, you can utilize Binance, right? So a lot of persons aren't telling you this. So when you hear them talking about like, hey, sign up on this platform. And when you try to do it, you say, okay, I'm not able to do it. It gets you frustrated. So that's what I do separately. Also, again, a lot of persons in the market, they ain't talking about taxes. It's after when you make the money and then you realize that, hey, you didn't have a tax strategy in place, then you're running all over the place trying to get an accountant, trying to do this, trying to do that. But if you had had a tax strategy in place before, you wouldn't lose so much money, right? For example, we heard about Terra Luna that crash, right? What I teach a lot of my students to do, right? Teach them where once you buy into an asset, and if you feel like, hey, it is too risky, or you just feel or you have doubts, borrow against it, right? So at the end of the day, you pull equity out of the asset, right? So depending on what loan platform you're doing or using, right, you can pull equity out of the asset. So for example, say the loan platform gives you a LTV ratio of 70%, meaning that you can take 70% worth of your asset, right? You can borrow against it, right? So now you have the asset in the market. However, you're just risking 30%. If you get what I'm saying, understand what I'm saying? Right? So once you utilize this, right, if it goes up, you're gaining, and you just have to pay back that 70%, right, to collect the vast majority. However, it goes down, right, you're just really risking 30%, right? And even if you get liquidated, meaning that, hey, it reached the point where the asset is equivalent to the loan amount, where the platform says, hey, I'm gonna sell your asset until you pay off the loan. If you don't pay off the loan, I'm gonna sell off your asset. Right? So they are saying that you don't owe me, I don't owe you. At the end of the day, right, you'll be selling at a loss, so that's capital gains loss. Right? So if you have a good accountant, they can write that off. And remember, you're being selling your asset. If you don't get the capital gains loss, or it doesn't apply based on what your business structure is, at least you're gonna be selling that asset lower compared to you're selling it at the top and you're paying a higher tax amount. So that's the strategy that I teach persons to utilize going in. And remember, when you borrow against your asset, you're not paying any taxes on it, because loans are tax deferred. You're not triggering a tax event, because when you trigger a tax event is when you buy something and you sell it. If you transfer it, you're not triggering a tax event, right? And that's why even cryptocurrency personnels, right? If crypto person basically has the strategies in place, they will go through the space better, right? And no one is really doing this, right? And now we have cryptocurrency lawyers, tax strategists, so I can also, help persons in that dynamic. So that's what I tell a lot of persons that crypto is a space to get into, because everything that's in the regular traditional system, eventually crypto is gonna be incorporating it. So get into the game, try to understand it quickly, right? So you can capitalize on these new job opportunities that are gonna be birthed, and you can capitalize on the different gains, and you can go through safely, right? Because I also know that, hey, there's hacks and whatever. So within my program, I help persons to combat against that, because there's stuff that you need to know. It's not always pretty in this industry, right? And in any industry that is, there's always the negative side to it, right? So if you have the mentality, if you have the strategy, you can go through, safely and greatly. So that's what differentiates me as a cryptocurrency coach. Sorry.
Go ahead, it's cool. And what would you say the same question applied to business coaching? Like, how do you compete with other people that are selling the same or similar
So
services?
here, so that's another point again, right? A lot of business coaches, right? They basically show you how to create or set up your back end systems, right? How to create an LSC, start your company. They will give you some strategies, right, to grow your business, right? But if they're not in the technological world, right? They are at a disadvantage. So are they equipping you with Facebook ads, YouTube ads, right? Are they telling about influencer marketing, SEOs, website, digital marketing products, utilizing click funnels or Kartra or Groove funnels, right? Instead of you creating a WordPress website, right? Are they giving you that game, right? And then to correlate with crypto, right? Are they showing you how you can interlock both of them? Right? I give you the sauce for both, because I'm showing like, hey, if you have your traditional business over here, crypto can come over here and fuel it, borrow against it, and you're having this asset over here growing. And then you as a business coach, you're teaching your students this, and you're giving them a new game. Let me show you something, right? This is a new product. You know about gift cards and that
Mm-hmm.
technology, right? Amazon gift card. This is the first ever, very exclusive, right? It's patent, right? Cryptocurrency
Okay.
gift card. It's right here, just launched. It's not on the market, so you can't get it anywhere right now. To be honest,
Okay.
it's coming on the
So how
market.
did you
This is
get it?
exclusive. The company, like, who released it, I have a deal with them going on, right? So I
Okay.
was introduced to the product. So now, instead of us basically, interlocking or get involved with the banks, right? Now we can just go buy a Bitcoin card at the store and then do our transactions on the blockchain, and though we don't have to involve the banks anymore, right?
So and that so that's equivalent to going and buying like one of those temporary credit card type things in the
There
in
you
the
go,
stores.
right? But now you have a one that has Bitcoin on it, right?
Okay.
So you see the name of the game, right? So you see where the world is going to, right? So this new technology is just coming out now, and now we're gonna able to capitalize on it, right? So you see, if you don't understand about crypto, right, and it's very easy to utilize this because there's just a barcode here that you're gonna scan. You're gonna go on the site. There's a PIN number right here that you have to enter,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you put your wallet address in, and you get your money. That's it. Three steps:
Okay.
barcode scan, enter your PIN, put your wallet address in, and that's it. But if you don't understand how to utilize crypto, where you're gonna learn the basics, which is buying, selling, sending, receiving, right? You're gonna be at a loss, right? You cannot capitalize on some technology like this where no, you don't have to utilize the banks, right? If you wanna send some money to somebody overseas and you don't wanna get blocked to Western Union and you don't have to go through that litigation, especially if you're trying to send a high amount, whether for family emergencies, or say you're trying to build a property or trying to do some high level business, right? You can just do
Mm-hmm.
everything through crypto and it's faster, right? And you can even send more. So, you see where this technology is going. So
Yeah,
if you
most
capitalize
definitely.
and get the information, you'll be well equipped.
Okay. And you're a full time entrepreneur, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes, I'm a full time entrepreneur. So one of my primary businesses is healthcare services because I realized, like, hey, healthcare is not going anywhere, especially in Canada, especially with COVID, right? I analyzed and I realized all the markets that are COVID proof, right? This market, it's COVID proof, right? People are always gonna be in the health field, right? So what I do, I help persons with mental challenges and disabilities, right? That's what I do for my full time career, right? However, on the side, which is cryptocurrency coaching and business, right? That's what I do. And I'm focusing right now on the cryptocurrency because with this business, you have to physically be here to help persons, right? So if I can outsource and I get persons to come in and work for me and utilize that, now I can buy back my time and focus on this technology where I just need my phone to do transactions. I don't need to have a computer, I just need my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and I can travel the world, enjoy my life, and live better, right? Buy back my time because it's not about just the money, it's about your time, right? So that's the game plan. That's the game plan,
Okay.
right?
So, sorry, I just want some clarification. When you say you're full time in healthcare with special needs individuals, like is that at a physical location? Is that online or
Okay, so what I do, instead of working for somebody, I'm a contractor, right?
so like
So
an independent contractor?
I'm an independent contractor because I do my own taxes. Yeah, do my own taxes, so I don't work for nobody, right? So I
So you
still
work on
have,
your own hours and stuff like that.
yeah,
Okay,
I work for
no, I
myself
got you.
basically.
So
So
that's your
yeah,
main thing, and
yeah.
then the business coaching, the crypto, and then the book and everything
Well,
is all a part
crypto
of the
is the
journey.
main crypto is the main focus right now because that's the new asset class right now that's gonna change the dynamics. However, we have our serial entrepreneurial stuff that we do differently, right? But at the end of the day, they always say, "Hey, you have to have focus on one thing." Yes, we use the healthcare business to fuel the crypto business because we need money to go into the cryptocurrency market or the stock market, right? So the healthcare is there to fuel that industry over here through the profits, right? Any other side business that I have, it's going through the main focus, which is crypto. And then once we accumulate as much, right? Now we can branch off into the different areas of crypto because you have so many ways you can make money with crypto trading, NFTs, hodling, staking, yield farming, mining, metaverse, decentralized finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exchanges, so gaming, so many. It's a new industry being birthed. So because it's new, I'm capitalizing on it. It's just like when the internet was coming out, right? Who capitalize on it then? They are the billionaires in the world right now,
Exactly.
as we can see. So crypto is gonna be the asset class that's gonna change a whole lot of person's life. And here's the greatest thing: traditional systems, you had to have a certain net worth, like being an accredited investor, to invest in certain you know in certain products. With crypto, there's no barrier to entry right now. Regulation is coming
Mm-hmm.
and we're seeing what they're doing, so all this nice stuff that's going on is not going to be available. They're cracking down, right? They're trying to control, not really cracking down, 'cause cracking down sounds like they're trying to control it, right? So when
Yes.
those controls comes in, it's gonna be harder for the regular person to capitalize on the different assets or the different gains that are available. So now's the time, guys. Especially now in the bear market, now's the time to learn the information by getting a coach and a mentor that can help you. So when that
Right.
bull run comes, or when the influx of money starts to hit the market again, you are ready. Because we know when opportunity meets preparation, success and riches.
Most definitely. Okay. So, how do you intend on scaling your business?
So what I how am I scaling my business? So this is the business coaching, right? This is what I do for my 10K program still, but I'm just gonna give you the sauce. So at the end of the day, right, the goal is to duplicate myself, right? So as a cryptocurrency coach, I teach persons this information, right? So one of the objectives that I need to be done from persons leaving my coach is you having the capabilities to do what I do, right? So now I'm gonna teach you the information that you can go out and teach somebody. You can, and that person can teach that person. That person can teach that person, right? And then I have products. I have a whole ecosystem available to support my students that I've teach who wants to do what I do. Because I have a course, right? I have books, and we just spoke previously about creating books. So I'm teaching them how to do those products, right? We do trading, so now we can go into the traditional market by doing trading, and we don't even have to trade stocks. We can trade crypto, which is more volatile, so we can make more money. And once you know how to control the volatility and know what to do, that's how you make money. So that's how I'm planning to scale my business, basically creating persons like myself, and then we build a body and a community, right? And then we just share this information. So that's how I'm scaling.
So, okay, so that's like multi-level marketing that you're trying to do
No, it's
ultimately, or not
no,
exactly?
because they don't need me at any given time. They don't need me, right? I'm no central hub. I'm just trying to duplicate
Okay.
myself, right? I'm just trying to duplicate
Mm-hmm.
myself. They don't need me at any given time, right? There's no connection to me. They can go do their own thing. It's just that for me, I'm putting myself as a central person to have the product, right? If you know, in the streets, I'm trying to be the connect. I'm trying to be the connect,
Fair
right?
enough.
I'm the connect.
Okay.
Those persons
All
are the
right. Got you
distributors,
covered.
just to bring it back home. So I'm like trying to be the connect with
Right.
all the information, and then persons come, and that's how I'm able to scale my business, right? So that kind of you relate a little bit more.
Yeah, I got you now. Makes more sense now. No, but the reason I asked, are you trying to make it into a multi-level
No.
marketing is because I'm currently reading this book called The Millionaire
Mm-hmm.
Fastlane. And the guy was saying basically if you're at the top of that, you're the best person out there. Like everyone else will make money depending on how they do it themselves. But if you're the one that started the company altogether, you're making the most at the end of the day. So that's why I asked if that's the way that you was going about it or not. That's why I just wanted
Yeah,
clarification.
definitely, and that's a good point to ask, because a lot of persons, there's products out there that has that feature to it. I don't teach that at all. I'm not involved in that any, because I don't think persons should need to bring somebody in to make money. Right? You should have the proficient knowledge to do it yourself. So I don't do that. I think of
Hmm.
franchising, right? So we're reading this book called E-Myth, right?
Okay.
It teaches you how to basically create something and you can duplicate it in somebody else, right? So I trying to create franchises, right? But the franchises are the
Okay.
persons, right? and I am the source. Cause look at McDonald's. There's so many different McDonald's franchises, but what does the main company do? They provide what? The
Real
products,
estate.
right?
Yep.
So if you put yourself in
Mm-hmm.
a point of a position to provide products, right? Then that's how you manage the distribution, right? And what are the products, right? Coaching services, materials like books, right? Resources, right? Because it's not about just physical stuff; it's about the mental stuff. Also, we provide mindset because there's a mindset that you have to have within the stock market, within the cryptocurrency market. There's an attitude. It's not just about just doing certain things. There's a way how you do this, right? So we have services in that aspect also, right? And then we offer support to our business owners who are doing what we do, right? So we have to show them about the different technologies. How do you do Facebook ads, YouTube ads, right? How do you do organic trafficking, right? Because that's building the whole structure. So I'm just giving you the blueprint for my 10K program, right? This is what we're doing at
Mm-hmm.
that level, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, sorry, just looking at the questions I have. Are you a part of the morning meetup
Yeah, definitely.
with
I'm
David
definitely
Chance?
shout outs to the morning
Okay.
meetup. Changed my life.
All right. All right. So when did you join it?
Last year, I think June, around last year June.
So you've been there for about a year now.
Yeah.
How did you hear about it?
How did I hear about it? To be honest, I think I was just going online. Oh, see, this is the thing, right? I was just researching, right? And I basically was watching Earn Your Leisure, right? And then there was an interview with
Yeah.
David Chance there, right? And
Okay.
this guy appealed to me, Boniface Ogunti, because I was trying to do some digital stuff. And Boniface Ogunti was interviewed by David Chance, and then I watched it, and then I liked the content, and I realized he was interviewing a whole bunch of persons, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
I just started to bench watch all his videos. I literally watch every single podcast episode, right? And then he was advertising the morning meetup. So I'm like, if I'm getting so much value from this person, why not join the morning meetup, right? And
Right.
that's how I just joined, right? Because I'm like, all right, I need to be around it. And that has changed my life because that's where I've able to even meet you right here. I've met my business
Mm-hmm.
coach there. I've met so many persons who had add so much value to myself, and that's why I call my company Small Boy Big Profits, right? Because small boy is just being humble enough to accept change and accept information. And what are the profits? The profits are basically, the monetary gains and also the connections and the people. Those are profits
Mm-hmm.
also.
Networking.
There you go, the whole network.
Yes. Okay. So, can you? I'm just trying to get more because I only joined in July.
Mm,
That's when I joined the morning meetup. I put it off for quite some time, just like I don't know about $70 a month. Like I was procrastinating. That's all I'm gonna say, right? I was procrastinating.
happens.
And I did go to the Black Equity Con that David Shantz hosted in Miami. I traveled to that. And I did meet a lot of people there, and they're like, what are you waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for? That's basically what everyone that I met was saying was like, what are you waiting for? I'm just like, you know what? Good question. I don't have an answer to it. So I was on vacation after that. So I was like, you know what? By July 1st, I need to join the morning meetup. And since then, it's been great. Like, I've
Yeah.
learned in 2 months, I've learned so much. Like, I've implemented systems that are gonna help me in the long run. Like, it's like if you aren't there, like, what are you doing? That's all I have to say for our listeners. If you aren't a part of the morning meetup, what are you doing? Like, you get to network. Like as you just mentioned, this is how I met you, basically. How we were able to connect. Yeah. So I definitely see.
Definitely. I would say to you, right, with regards to you hearing person say, what are you holding on to? Read The Magic of Thinking Big, right? That's the book. A lot of persons credit Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yes, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and like it grew my mind, right? But The Magic of Thinking Big, man, that book, that helped me
What's
to
the
do actionable steps.
who's the author?
I have the book right there. It's called David Schwartz, PhD. David J. Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big. Listen, read that book. That book will change your life. That's the book that got me up when I was down, right? Because you know how the entrepreneurship is, right? It's a roller coaster. There are so many times when I was down, right? And even in my book, Small Boy
Mm-hmm.
Big Profits, I tell persons I didn't always have it like, enjoying myself. And, there's points in time where you're just low. But once you have the mindset, and that book teaches about mindset, it teaches about excuses, it teaches about just, you know, going hard. Like, don't give up on yourself, bet on yourself, go out there.
Right. This is it.
Yes, the magic of thinking big. There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I might have to add that to my list of books. Like you don't see it here, but I got a whole bunch of books that I've already bought, and I need to finish them. Like I told myself I can't buy any more books until I'm finished them, so I'll definitely put it on my list to buy once I'm
And
finished
I will
reading all
say
these
to
books
you,
that I have.
right? I have a whole section there because I have a whole library now, literally. And some books might appeal to you in a particular moment, just like the 4 Hour Work Week. I had that book quite a while. I just finished it about like 2 weeks ago, right? Books will appeal to your present condition. Like I have mindset books, I
Mm-hmm.
have money books, I have different types. So even if you start a book,
Yeah.
right, and you're not in a particular mood, right, because we have mood swings too. We're human. You can stop a
I'm
book
telling you,
and you can
man.
start another one, right? You can stop one and read another one because it all depends on where you are at, right? Because right now, I'm in the mood right now to, all right, hey, I just need to get my headspace right. I'm feeling a little bit down. I go read my mindset book, right? Once it gives me that energy, then I say, okay, no, I'm boosted up now. Now I need to go take action. I read the book that enables me to take action, right?
Yep.
So, you have to know
I'm
how
with
to
you on that.
operate.
Because I feel like I have a strict reading schedule in a sense, and it works for me and it hinders me at the exact same time. And I could say that because, like I said, I'm reading The Millionaire Fast Lane right now, and I could have finished it like 3 weeks ago, but because I wasn't in the right mindset to take in the information, I was just like, I look at it, but I'm just like, nah,
Mm.
not today. Nah, not today. Like I'm not in the headspace to take in the information in the aspect where I can think about how I can apply it to my life. So I do have I like autobiographies as well as business mindset books. So I bring in the autobiographies as this is a leisure read type thing for me. That's what I've noticed. I don't like stories. I forget is that nonfiction?
Yeah. I don't read
Yeah.
fictional books, right? We only read non-fiction, things that are factual.
Fiction is fake, nonfiction is real, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I don't read the fake stuff. I don't need to, if that makes sense. Like I'm reading to learn, not reading to entertain.
Yes, I totally understand. But
That's
here's what we can do also, right? With what we do, and I'm just giving you so much game. I'm giving you another sauce that I've developed, right? We have our kids. We have our kids out there, right? And our kids there, they are watching all these cartoons. So now I just came up with a cartoon idea where I'm like, I'm gonna have an animation, right? Making it fun. And in the animation, right, I'm gonna be teaching financial literacy in it. Right? I'm gonna have like a crypto, so I'm gonna have my own crypto cartoon going on teaching you, but I'm gonna correlate to traditional systems so an adult person can understand it. So basically, I
right.
have my course, right? My cryptocurrency. So this is just me doing another scale of my business. I have the cryptocurrency course, right? I have the book for it. I have the coaching program. Then I also have the cartoon where now I can start to put this information into the young minds, right? So you use one asset or you create one product and then you utilize that product for so many options, right? Because from my course, I have the book, then I can have the audio book, I have the coaching program, I have the ebook, right? So there's so many offers there that you can produce
Yep.
from it.
Most definitely. That's dope.
So you just have to have a
I
game
will.
plan, have a strategy, know the reason why you're gonna be doing it, and then execute. There will never be a perfect moment. I can tell anyone this. There will never be a perfect moment. This is life. There's gonna be winters, there's gonna be summers, right? You have to just go through it. Right now the market is down, we're in a bear market, but now is the time and now is opportunistic time. Now is the time for you to buy up stuff that are low. So when it goes back up, you make bags. That's how I
Right.
started my cryptocurrency journey, just to let you know. When COVID came
Okay.
and all the markets
And
crashed,
everything was done.
that's how I started.
Okay. It's interesting that you literally just said Like there's no perfect time. I literally posted my post today had everything to do with that. Like I'm telling you, each interview I've done this week is just a confirmation of something. So the tweet that I did, I think I tweeted this like almost well over a year ago. The dream is free and the hustle is sold separately. But in my underneath, you know how you write your caption or whatever.
Yeah.
I said, everyone out there, everyone is out there dreaming. One day I'll do this, one day I'll do that, one day I'll afford to do this, one day. And then I ended it with, one day you'll be dead too. So why not start working towards it now? Like, why are you waiting? Tomorrow isn't promised. Like, just get out there and try. So you definitely confirmed my thoughts for this morning. So I really appreciate that. Like, it's
I'm glad I
crazy
could
how
add
each
some value
person
to
I
you.
have spoken to this week has confirmed something that I have either been thinking about or I've been learning, or it's crazy the way that once you talk to other people, you know that a lot of people have the same sort of mindset type
Well,
thing.
the law of attraction definitely applies right here, right? Because anything
Mm-hmm.
that you conceptualize in your brain or you think about, right, you're actually manifesting it and you're attracting that. So this information, you're attracting it, right? And that's why at the end of the day, it's good to be around like-minded people, right?
Most
So
definitely.
you can, elevate and you can get insights from each other, right? Because if you're not around the environment and you're not reading and you're not putting anything into yourself and you're not trying to grow, you're actually dying, right?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna start closing up. So I ask all these questions to everyone at the end of each episode. The first one is there anything we haven't talked about that you'd like to discuss?
Well,
In case we missed anything.
really not any. We didn't really mean anything. We touched on all the different topics, right? But even to with regards to like crypto, right? 'Cause we didn't really go really in deep into the cryptocurrency market where we're gonna be expanding and showing persons different opportunities. But what I want to say
Mm-hmm.
is to let persons know that hey, with everything there's a good, there's a bad. You have to decipher the information and know how it can benefit you. And majority of the times, if you try to do it by yourself, you're not going to take action. You're not going to capitalize on the opportunities because guess what? You don't have the information, right? That happened to me back in 2017 when I just started to analyze the cryptocurrency market. I didn't have anyone to guide me, coach me, do anything. So when Bitcoin was at $500, I couldn't cap on it. I couldn't capitalize on it, right? I tried, but
Right.
it didn't work because I didn't have a coach, I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have someone to help me through the process, right? I winged it, but I failed. And this is the thing, guys. You have to seek the information. And if you find somebody who has the information, right, to level up, right, go to that person, right? Join their coaching programs and get the information, right? Get the
Mm-hmm.
information. It's better you have it and don't need it than need it and don't have it. Especially right now in this current market. And crypto is the latest asset class, right? I've been in industry quite a while. So yeah.
Okay. What advice would you give to 18-year-old you about what you're doing now?
All right. So what I would give, the advice that I would give to my 18-year-old self is basically, just go hard, right? Go hard. Don't give up, right? Don't follow what people say. Follow your heart, right? That's what I would say to myself, right? Believe in yourself. Have confidence, right? Just follow through. And one more thing, take risks. Take risks, right? There was one risk that I didn't take. However, at the end of the day, I basically learned from it, right? I didn't take that risk
Mm-hmm.
because of, self and limiting beliefs. I didn't believe in myself, but after reading The Magic of Thinking Big, right, that changed the trajectory of my life. So I wish I had basically started to read more, but back then I didn't have no one to guide me.
Right. Understandable. What advice would you give to our listeners on entrepreneurship, being a business coach, and
I would say
just
this
life?
to everyone, right? Don't try to do it by yourself, right? There are some persons who are ahead of you, right? Try to get information from those persons, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going to pay one way or another. It's better that you pay to get the information that you need to level up, right? than you're paying by making mistakes, right, and losing money, or you're paying by missing out on opportunities, right? Stop being poor, right? We have to get rid of the more poor mentality. What is poor? Passing over opportunities repeatedly, right?
Ooh, I like that one. Say that one more time.
What is poor? Passing over opportunities repeatedly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So at the end of the day, we have to, get rid of that mentality. So that's what I would
Yep.
say to the audience, right? I wish I had started this earlier also, but now I'm comfortable paying to get the information that I need to level up, because there's stuff that I don't know. And what I do, I pay to get the information, right? Because that person
Yep.
is gonna shorten the process rather than me trying to do it myself, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's why we have to leverage personnels, right? Right? And this book again, Who Not How, it's really beautiful. Really beautiful. Who Not How. So that's an incredible call. So yes, you can check out. But that's what I would say to persons, find a coach and mentor, read more, invest in yourself. Personal development is really, really, really it is very, very important. I don't even know. Like, I wanna give you a word that's gonna blow your mind, but it's very important, right? Because you have to be somebody different, right? To do other stuff so you can have other stuff, right? You have to be a different person to have certain stuff, right? So at the end of the day, if you're not being and trying to invest in yourself, you're not gonna level up. You're gonna stay stagnant.
I 100% agree with that. What's next for you and your business?
So for me right now, I'm just basically launching up my courses called the Crypto Course, right? DECRYPTOCOURSE, the Crypto Course. All right, and you can go to the cryptocourse.com. I give you a free checklist once you sign up on the waiting list, right? And I give you a document that basically do to start your cryptocurrency journey, right? Also, persons can tap in with me at Garnet JR, right? Where you can come and talk to me and we can start your cryptocurrency journey, right? It's not complicated. You just have to have the right guidance, right? And I'll meet you where you are at and I'll hold your hand through the process, right? I help persons from the beginner stage to the intermediate level and going all the way to the advanced, right? Don't be afraid, right? You just have to ask the right questions and invest in yourself, right? So, that's what's next
Mm-hmm.
for me, just getting this information out about cryptocurrency and basically, trying to put the negatives aside, clarifying that, hey, this is the new asset class because the rich are getting into it. And we, the poor persons, we, the lesser, right? We are the ones that are being the guinea pigs, right? We are the ones that are being the sacrificial lamb of this industry by being scammed or being taken advantage of because guess what? We don't have the correct information, right? So we have to get the
Mm-hmm.
information from the source that has it and execute in that manner.
Okay. Um, Two more questions. What would you say to your future self 5 years from now?
What would I say to my future self 5 years from now? Right? I would say stay focused, don't give up, invest in yourself. That's it. Right? Stay focused, believe in yourself, invest in yourself.
Yep, that's it. That's all you need in life, basically. And the last one is, where do you see yourself and your business 5 years from now?
Where do I see myself 5 years from now? I see myself 5 years from now somewhere on an island, right? Right. Enjoying myself, doing business on my phone or my computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I see myself and just communicating as helping persons, right? Like just giving people the education that they need with regards to financial literacy. Because at the end of the day, a lot of persons don't have this information. There's not a whole lot of persons coming out to communicate this information, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I would, see myself where I'll be on an island somewhere enjoying myself, right? Because, I have to feel good in order for me to share that joy also, right? Because if you don't feel good, you're not gonna share that joy properly, right? So I want to be somewhere nice, having the business, and I'm just talking to persons virtually, going to conferences, just basically traveling, enjoying my life, and just doing the work of God, right? Which is just helping our brother man to level up and live a good life.
Right. Okay. Do you have any questions for me before we close out?
I would say to you, when are you ready to execute and start your cryptocurrency journey? Because at the end of the day, right, my thing is to get this information across to everyone, right? And I alone cannot do it. I cannot do it by
Right.
myself, right? So my goal is to enable you so you can enable others by utilizing this podcast to basically, communicate financial literacy. Because it's not about crypto. There's strategies that are gonna be used, right, to level up in other
Mm-hmm.
aspects. Because just like you have crypto, right, that's the asset class. But there's a back end where you're setting up a business, right? You have to talk about the business structure, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, right? SOPs, right? All of that stuff. You're gonna embody all of that, and then you can just share this information with others by the means of your podcast, so people can level up. Because they tell you on the forefront of how to make money, but they don't tell you the back end of it, and the back end of it is where the real work is.
Where the real work is done. Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I started investing in crypto. I think I'm not sure if we talked about that on the live the other day. But for me right now, it's not my focus. But do also have the tools in place to just throw money into it if I do choose. So I have. It's not like I
Yeah,
haven't
I
dabbled
wouldn't
into
say
it
just
before.
throw money, develop the strategy, right? Because it's not what you do, it's how you do it, right? So it's just to
Right.
help you so you can help others out there. That's the name of the game for me. Empower you so you can empower others, and then we are,
Okay.
all aligned. But as you said, focus. You have to just, go with your alignment, right? It's there. It's
Yeah.
not gonna go away, right? I just say, hey, at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for everyone, and just capitalize on it.
Okay. Any other questions for me?
Honestly, I would just say, when could we, do this again? Because I like communicating the information, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
when could we, like, communicate
You
this
mean like on
information? Or
on
better yet, here's the question, right? If we could do more, not necessarily on your podcast only, but just chop it up, talk over this information so our audiences can correlate, right? Just broadening the information and just reaching different places. Because you're in Bermuda, right? That's a
right.
different location. That's a different demographics, right? I'm here in
Mm-hmm.
Canada. I'm trying to appeal to my folks back home in Jamaica. So it's just masterminding networking. I guess the home or the word is just networking, right?
Yeah.
That's the question. We just need to can we network more, right? That's it,
Most
and then we can
definitely.
meet more people again.
Yeah, I'm definitely down with the networking because that's what I need to consistently grow. I feel like that's what everyone needs to consistently grow, essentially. So networking, definitely down for that.
Yeah. So no more questions for me. I would say to you, do you have any questions for me? No.
Nope. I am all questioned out. If anything else popped into my head, I always just send you a
Yeah, man, reach
message or
out.
anything like that. All right. So thank you, Garnet, for joining in for the Black Excellence Law podcast. Really do appreciate it. And we'll chop it up soon.
Yeah, man, you're welcome, man. It was good to be here. Have yourself a beautiful day now.
All right. You as well. Bye bye.
All right.